Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's a new day and time for a new project. I got the Turbo 330 Ci pretty much all stripped down for all the parts that we're going to sell off of it. Got someone that wants to take the shell. If they don't, probably just get stripped down a little further and sent for scrap. So time for a new project. I was hoping to get that one out of here before I brought on a new one. But you know how marketplace goes. When something pops up, you got to jump on it. So last Friday night, this popped up on Facebook. Initially was asking 800 bucks, then said in the comments, I'll take 6. So I messaged him, said, hey, you know, can I come out in the morning? And he said, sure, no problem. He says, but he was down a tire and it needed to swap off one of the rollers to keep for himself. And he says, I'll give it to you for 500 bucks. So a $500 E30 I think is pretty much a steal at any condition. This one you know, definitely is a little rough around the edges if you can't tell already. But it is a manual E30, 318i, so it is a 4-cylinder, but it is a manual. So kind of looking forward to starting this project. I got it home and just got it in the driveway. Really haven't been able to touch it, haven't gone through it too much. Ran a Carfax on the VIN. Looks like it was originally sold near Birmingham, Alabama. Spent most of its life there, one owner all the way up until about 2015, and sold to a second owner, who I believe is probably the person that painted this white. This was originally Polaris metallic, so silver, and is now painted white with a black hood. We'll give you a quick walk around, and then maybe we'll get you set up here, and we'll go through the trunk and what's inside the car. And we'll go from there. So let's cut it here and we'll do a little walk around. Okay, so this is my 1985 318i and we just picked up. You see it's white with a black hood. The paint itself, it's pretty bad. It's flaking off. Wouldn't doubt if someone put it on with a roller. It's pretty bad. The sail panel trim is inside the car, which is good. It's got the bottle cap wheels. It's actually only had 2 just on the back. The fronts had a donut and a tire that was blown out. Found a set of 3 bottle caps on Marketplace that had tires on it that mostly hold air. That's all I need at this point. We just need to be able to make sure that it can roll around and get it in and out of where I'm going to work on it. So you see, you got a busted taillight back here. This one doesn't look too bad on this side. Obviously the roundel is bad. You can see here the paint is just coming off of the trunk. So this will end up needing a respray at some point because it's pretty bad. Not a whole lot of dents and dings really. There are some in the roof, but most of the major side panels are pretty decent shape. This hood, however, you got some pretty thick bondage, so I'll probably look for another hood for this at some point. So being a $500 E30, of course it doesn't run. There's no keys and no title. But here in Georgia, and 85 and older, they do not issue titles for, so we can't get a title for this. Georgia just doesn't process them. I even went to the tag office yesterday with all the paperwork. Police came out to do their paperwork, show that it's not stolen, that there's nothing bad with the title. Went back to DMV and they're like, unless you're going to put it on the street, there's nothing else we can do right now because we don't issue title. But they did tell me I've got all the information I need to get plates when and if that happens. Get you up here on the roof line. I'm not really sure what these hooks are. I don't know if that's supposed to be popping out or not. Looks like someone tried to silicone it shut, so that's a pretty good sign. There's some dents and stuff on the roof, but nothing too bad. All things considered, this thing's really nice and solid. I've taken a quick peek underneath. Everything looks great. There is one little spot in the corner of the floor pan in the back about the size of a quarter, $half, that that rusted through, so that will need some attention. Passenger front door does not open. It is unlocked, doesn't open. I'll have to dig into that. Rear door does open. Every door except for that one has the door panel off. I am missing this door panel. Every door is missing the vapor barrier as well. Here you can kind of see the silver color that it used to be. It's all just dirty and gross. Was originally the blue interior, blue cloth. Kind of actually like the blue. It's very 80s, 90s. There is the sail panel on the package shelf. There's some trim up here for one of the doors, I believe, and some random pieces. There's an armrest, fuel pump, I think, a couple other little bits. Go around to the other side. And this door doesn't open either. You might have seen from the other side that there's a screwdriver in the door pull. I'm guessing it does get it to open, but I just haven't messed with it enough yet. And again, this side, door panel's off, it's in the back seat. The doors are all in great shape. No rot or anything on the bottom. Door sills look good. And it looks like we've got some E46 comfort seats that someone put in here. They're on the wrong side. This is actually a passenger seat. That's the driver's seat on the passenger side. I'm guessing there's some fitment issues. Trying to get these to sit in there. Obviously the power's not hooked up. They're just sitting on the floor. So I can't really adjust them or move them. They also don't feel fully bolted in. So that'll need some attention. The steering wheel, well, that's not really on there. It's actually not the right steering wheel. This is, again, it's like an E46 airbag wheel. This is not the right wheel, and it actually won't clear the release. It might, maybe if I can get the key to release this locking tab, it might, oh, there it goes. It might slide on, but it's definitely not the right steering wheel. We'll be looking for one of those. Gauge cluster's loose in the housing. Dash pad is all cracked up. Center console's in decent shape. It's got the little cassette holders. It's got one of those pull-out cassette tapes. So that was a big thing back in the day. I don't know if the wiring's in there or not. We're probably not going to use it anyways. Some sort of chassis mount shifter. But she is a 5-speed. You got all 3 pedals down here. I think the previous owner was trying to get it to start. That's why this kick panel is down and it's actually missing. I don't see any cut up wires, which is good, but I think we're going to probably pull out the ignition lock and just see if we can at least get it to turn. You can take the ignition cylinder off and just turn the ignition switch and she should crank over. I did call BMW. They only want about 70 bucks for a key, but I also don't know if this ignition, if someone was kind of monkeying with it. If it is and it's damaged, I'd rather just get a whole new key and an ignition barrel. So it's only like 111. I don't want to spend 70 on a key, then need the barrel too. Gas pedal looks broken. Not sure how this is supposed to attach, but it's not. So that we'll have to check out at some point. Passenger side, again, missing the door panel. It's in the back seat. Glove box doesn't latch. It's not surprising. A whole bunch of junk in here. I might go through that in a little bit, just clear some of it out. And I always love these hoods. Actually, it did already go forward, so we'll just open it up. Love the clamshell grill, or clamshell hood. So, under the hood, this is the mighty M10 as far as I can tell. Looks complete, so we should be able to get it running. At least that's my hope. It does spin by hand, so we should be good there. This is really the only area that there's some rot. This battery tray area, obviously you can see something's been making a home here. and it's kind of rotted away. So that'll need some attention, but other than that, everything else in the car seems really solid. I did notice that these leads are cracked, so I do have a new cap, rotor, wires, plugs coming for this. Also, it's missing one of the clips for the distributor, so he's got it zip tied, and I'll show you here in a sec. This could be partly why it's not starting. You see inside here, that rotor's been cutting into the cap itself, so that's probably the main reason why it's not starting. It's just moved around too much, so I need to find another clip. Looks like I can still get them from BMW. They're pretty cheap, so I might go order one tomorrow for that. Cooling system's all there, fan feels good. Doesn't seem to be any leaks. It's in good shape except for the dent on that one corner and all the filler. But I should be able to find a hood reasonably priced. I think I saw one for like 100, 120 bucks on Marketplace. Windshield's cracked, of course, a couple different places. It does have an oil change sticker. I believe the date is 2004 that it was due. From what I can tell, registration records show this was registered every year up until 2015. So I don't think that's an accurate oil change sticker. It's probably just been sitting there. But we'll, of course, once we get it running, do that. Headliner's seen better days. I've done the headliner and all the pillars on my E46. If I keep this car, I'll end up redoing it in here too. It's not too terrible of a job to do. You just gotta take your time, be patient. In the trunk, we've got a whole smorgasbord full of stuff. Stuff that doesn't even belong to the car, from what I can tell. Like this. I don't know what these mounts are for. We've got wiring, we've got a shock. This does have all 4 shocks, so I don't know what that's to. We've got some serial cables in here, some more. This is a door trim here. This obviously doesn't belong to this car either. So we're going to go through here, I think, in a few, and just try to get some of the junk out of it. So when I do start working on it, I can. I think this is a seat back for the original seats. I wish I had them instead of those comfort seats. I don't think the comfort seats in general in the E46 are very comfortable, especially compared to my sport seats. The sport seats aren't that great, but certainly the comfort seats are more park bench like than the sport seats. So I don't know what we'll do for seats. We got a lot of work ahead of us before we get there. So what is the plan for this car? Well, I'm not sure. At minimum, what we got to do is we got to get some diagnosis into seeing why this wasn't starting. Looks like he pulled the fuel pump down and was messing with that. I think he said it did have fuel. So a couple things could be it's main relay in that box over there, fuel pump relay that we need to check. That fuel filter looks pretty old and nasty too. Another thing that could be is the crank position sensor. So we'll have to investigate that. So we got a little bit of checking to do. I'm not really sure why there's a light bulb wired into the alternator harness. Maybe just he was trying to see if it was actually charging. That wire will need to get replaced. That's pretty crusty. Snap an oil filter on it. I don't know how old, but at least they were trying to put something decent in this. Got some things unclipped. I'm not real familiar with E30s, so this is going to be a huge learning experience for me. So I got just a hood switch, hood position switch. So yeah, this will be a pretty big learning experience for me. I don't know these cars. I've always liked them, always wanted them. Of course, I prefer the M20, but this is what we found, and for 500 bucks, I don't think it's a terrible purchase. Minimum, if I can get this thing running, just clean up some of the junk inside, I should be able to sell it, make a few bucks. You know, maybe someone will turn it into a track car, maybe someone buy it to restore it, who knows. So yeah, my first step here is going to be just to see if we can get it to run. I'm going to try to, like I said, pop off that ignition switch, put a battery in it, see if she cranks, and then we'll start some diagnosis from there, whether or not we have fuel pressure, whether we have spark, and go from there. So the other ideas that I've got for this, well, we've got a lot of parts left over from the E46 330 CI Turbo Turd that I did recently on the channel. You can see it there in the garage, still up on jack stands. The whole rear end's out of it. One thought is to take that power plant, the engine 5-speed from that, and put that in this, and then just do a crazy build and make this into an autocross car. I currently do autocross my 330 CI, but I wouldn't mind doing this one as well. So I don't know. We gotta get into it, kind of check it out, see what's going on, look at some options there, and then decide what we're gonna do with it. So let me know, guys, what do you think of this project? Hopefully you guys are excited about it as I am. If you were gonna paint it a different color, what would you paint it? Keep the white that's not factory, or go back to factory to the Polaris silver, or go something crazy. I've had thoughts of doing a bright purple, maybe kind of pumpkin orange, kind of like the old 240Zs. I've always loved that kind of color. Had someone recommend a deep green, kind of like that green 330 Ci that I've got. So I don't know. Throw your comments down. Let me know what you think. If we paint this, what should we do with it? Or what color should we paint it? And your thoughts on what we should do with the car itself. So thank you guys all for watching. I'll give you some updates here as we start working on it, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. You know what to do, and we'll see you next weekend. Thank you.